Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of the worst podcast on YouTube, the Homie Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Bergnut, joined as always by the wonderful.
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, pussies? Welcome back to the Homie Chat.
Today is a bit of a special one because it's the first time we've ever had 4 people on at once. We've had 3 people, we've had 69 people, but we've never had 4. A very experimental number. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Well, so we're both here together. We've known each other a long time. I'm Janna. The Mule is my character, and I do a YouTube thing with Blake sometimes.
Hey, yep. My name's Blake. I have you might see it. I don't know what they're gonna do with the editing, but I have like a blue Fennec Fox character. Jan and I run a show called Fox and Mule. My channel on YouTube is called Ultrafox. I do my own videos where I review games, do silly shit with talking about games and other topics. Then that's kind of a more highly edited stuff usually. But Jan and I also do a slightly more casual show called Fox and Mule where we talk about a whole bunch of things. We'll play a game and commentate over it or do lots of other stuff. It's been a lot of fun.
I mean, I bet most people would know about the Wario account you used to run, the Wario fan cam account.
That and the Butch Hartman videos. Actually, we've had a lot of people come from that.
Yep.
That's probably what most people know our shared channel from.
Was it
Butch Hartman, and they blew up. They comparatively blew up. We got like 50K views or something around there.
The algorithm loved those videos.
Oh yeah,
we did some videos on Butch Hartman. Most we and I average like, let's say 150 at the worst, usually up to at the best. Like I have some videos with 600, 700 views.
Damn, that's like $10 in revenue.
I guess so.
1K. We have that Timon fanfic.
Yeah, that was one of the more successful ones that weren't the Butch Hartman ones. But then the Butch Hartman ones were like, "Fuck you." These are like at 50K. It's like, okay, all right. I don't know. I guess.
Who drew the thumbnails for those, by the way? Because like,
oh,
you did. That was you.
I did. Yeah, I drew those.
You're trying to like intentionally mock his art style.
Yes.
It's absolutely like spot on. Like if I'll probably put a picture of the thumbnails on the screen in post, but like they actually really look like something Butch would do. Like if I commissioned him to draw your characters, he would probably do it like that.
Yeah. Well, so I would have to look at them again. I don't have them on the screen, obviously, but I intentionally did the super fucking saturated colors and the blurred style of background with like no real detail, and then some cringy dialogue and just the super, not even well done cartoony, but just kind of lazy side mouth.
Oh yeah, the thing Butch always does.
Yeah.
And don't forget the lens flares.
Yes.
Yes, J.J. Hartman.
Yeah, I got more lens flares than in a Star Trek movie.
My internet was horrible in those videos, though. I'm surprised more people didn't comment because context, I live in the middle of like absolutely nowhere. I live on a horse farm, right? So the whole time I was recording it like on my phone casually with Blake, and I don't have my own Wi-Fi, so it was just like based off the data, and I was only getting like 1 bar, and so the is constant.
Seemed to be cutting off a little bit there.
It was hell. Editing those videos was like, it took way longer than it should have in normal circumstances because I had to cut out like 30 seconds in between each sentence.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Attempt at human language. That's happened a few times on this show.
As I could to sounding normal.
Yeah.
I don't think I even have my mic yet, or if I did, I think I was still figuring out. I didn't really know I could use the office up here, and I didn't have Wi-Fi in my actual room, and I still don't because it's just so like prohibitively expensive to get my own.
Yeah.
So I was just like winging it, and recorded it on my phone, like literal potato quality. And I'm surprised a few people commented, but I'm surprised everyone wasn't like, bro, what the fuck potato is she recording on? Like, what is going on?
Hey, at least it's portable though.
That's true. I drove up to the office today, and as my interviewees people know, my car literally died on the way here, so I'm sitting here with my laptop in the office, in an empty office at 9 p.m. with my dad got me this thing you can charge your battery if you charge it with your phone. So this power box is charging on my laptop, so I can jump my car when I'm done with this.
Oh, best of luck with that when this is over. Then.
I hope it
Yeah,
works.
Yeah.
my life is up in one
Don't
sentence.
want you to be stranded out there.
I am close by. Fortunately, it's like a mile.
Yeah.
But
But at one point you mentioned how like you had to edit so much of like glitchy audio. That's had to happen a lot of times on this podcast as well because I for a good chunk of this podcast history I didn't have a Wi-Fi extender until recently. And because of that, there would be times where either Goose would cut out or I would cut out, and I'd have to like just go through there and try to salvage anything of a topic. And it flows decently well, I hope. Oh God, I
Very
hope.
James, what do you mean? I don't cut out at all. I never.
Oh yeah, your audio is perfect, Goose. It never cuts out at all, and there's no issues whatsoever. Never has been,
so,
never will
like,
be.
I'll just be
Yeah.
talking. It'll be perfectly smooth.
Yeah, smooth as butter. Just like right now, where you cut off in the middle of the sentence. That was intentional, right? Smooth as butter.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't get bored with me then.
Fox and Mule never has any technical issues. Our streams never have any technical problems. Janna
Oh,
can tell
yeah.
you.
Oh
we
my
never
God,
have any
Blake.
issues.
I was rewatching that first Thai stream we did, and I remember it was so annoying at the time because I was talking about something, and you just started scream laughing, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you laughing?" And you play over the stream, and it's like wasn't obvious at the time. It was like,
Sounded like
Yeah, I remember
sounded
that.
like Liu Kang doing his kick move.
I think I could only it was something I only heard on my end, so it sounded so funny, and you had no idea what I was laughing about.
I was just telling a story, and I'm like, Blake, why? He's like, Janna, stop, Janna.
Well, I guess a good topic would be Mr. Blake. How did you really get started
Yes.
making YouTube content as a whole? Like, what really, what were your earliest inspirations on YouTube, like itself? You know, what really got you into wanting to make stuff on this platform? Generic question, I know, but I'm a generic man with generic ideas, so answer the goddamn question.
Thank you, generic nut. Well, honestly, so I've started Ultrafox in 2020, which is actually just my original channel rebranded. I actually started making YouTube videos over a decade ago in 2010 is when I actually first started.
Damn.
Back then, and so I was like around 15 at the time, and back then I've always wanted to do YouTube videos. It's always been I love entertaining people and I like making content. Even since back then, originally I was more so my channel was two things. It was game collecting videos because I love that shit. I was really into that, especially before it got like really insane with pricing stuff. It was just so much fun to like find these games, and I was really into that. There's channels like Pete Dorr and Happy Console Gamer. I really like channels like that before like Let's Plays and the reviewers like Cat Icarus or Scott the Waz got big. I like those kind of channels. And then otherwise, I did a bunch of stupid movies with my cousins and my friends, and they're so dumb, but I had a lot of fun making those too. It was kind of those were the content. It was game collecting videos, some really shitty reviews here and there, and then also those skit like home movie things. And then I fell off the rails for like from the 2015 to 2019. I wasn't making anything because life was just so like that was the beginning of adult life. It was way too much to like worry about that stuff. But it was always on the back of my mind. Like I wanted to get back into it. And then finally, once 2019 hit, I was like, you know what? I finally feel a little bit stable enough. I feel stable enough to where I want to finally start up something. The unfortunate thing is YouTube's a little more oversaturated now. So that's the minus to how I did it. But
yeah, it's a big problem because
yeah,
any idea you could ever think of has already been done like 30 times. And at the end of the day, instead of, I feel like the best way to go about it now is to get a concept that's been done before, but try to like spin it in a way.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way of doing it instead of like trying too hard to make an original idea and end up flopping over yourself and becoming creatively bankrupt. You know,
Yeah,
I
that's
always say taking inspiration is
agree.
never a bad thing.
Oh yeah, like I mean, I wear my inspirations on my sleeve with my videos, like with Scott or other reviewers, Cat Icarus. I love their content. They've definitely inspired me a lot. And even those early YouTubers, just tons of things like that have inspired me a lot. But yeah, I started back up I was coming up with ideas in 2019, and I was like, screw it. I commissioned my avatars. I got everything I needed to start up a channel again. I um, got a computer to work with finally to edit stuff. I learned how to edit with I edited before like on iMovie on free editors, but I learned how to
iMovie.
yeah,
Great
that's what I was
choice right
using for a
there.
long time. Yes.
Use Bandicam.
But then no handycam.
Hypercam unregistered or whatever.
No Bandicam to whatever unregistered hypercam. Never used those, thankfully.
Oh, you
But
missed the
actually-
early 2000s YouTube charm.
You should still use them. Those are the best programs.
True.
Get fucked, Adobe.
Do you want 144p quality footage? Well, we got the program for you.
Bandicam, it's always a really shitty like footage. It's like 144p, but then the actual watermark is like perfectly crystal clear.
You get that
You know it's
4K
Bandicam.
watermark.
Yeah.
At least it's dependable.
One of my favorite old YouTube copy pastas was roses are red, violets are blue, unregistered hypercam 2.
That's
Classic.
great.
Hold on, I got a question. How did you and Janna meet? You guys have said you've
Yeah.
been friends for a long ass time. I would like to know that backstory. I gotta read the lore, the
Yeah,
manga.
the J.R.R.
Oh, we all
Tolkien
want-
book.
The Fox and Mule lore.
You sit us down, give us a whole MatPat game theory about the timeline.
Yeah, the timeline's complex.
Break
There's a
it down.
lot
Yeah,
of
there's a lot we could go into on this. This is a
Break
good
it down
topic.
like a Mark Brown video.
So, like, point blank, we met in the Lion King fandom. I joined when I was about 13. I was into the fanfic stuff first. I don't know why that movie specifically, but I met a lot of other teenagers, usually slightly a few years older than me, but I met a lot of other teenage friends around that point in my life. And when I was about 14, I joined a forum site called My Lion King, which is pretty much dead now. We have several videos
Thankfully.
about the site that I'd recommend checking out if you want to know more, because it really was kind of just a weird, crazy place. I think the fandom was the perfect size for that because it was niche enough that it wasn't like Twilight or Harry Potter
Yeah.
or Trek or Star Wars, where there's like hundreds of thousands of people that you'll never meet.
The ruining of the fandom didn't happen immediately. It just it was a slow burn then with less people.
Yeah, it jumped a lot.
Sorta.
I remember when the movie was re-released in 3D around 2011 or 2012, and there was a big resurgence of interest in the movie again. That wasn't the reason why I joined. I rewatched the movie when I was 13 and really liked it and decided I wanted to try and write fiction stories around the same time, so I kind of melded the two and wrote my own fan fiction and met a lot of people that way. And Blake was never into that, but we did meet on that forum site. Some of my friends from fanfic were also there, which, fun fact, I actually got quite a bit of attention, I think, because I posted at the right time for my fanfics. I think one of my Lion King fanfics is still like the 10th most favorited out of like 5,000 or something. I don't know. I got a lot
Guinness World Record material here.
I know,
So we
right?
got the golden pedestal put in a box like a Christian relic.
Honestly,
Holy
yeah, I'm
Grail.
like, weirdly proud of
Yeah.
it, but also weirdly like, oh man, it was kind of bad. But at the same time, considering I was only like 13 when I started it, I'm like, it's pretty good for how old I was. But
Oh, yeah.
also there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh my God, I would never write like that now. There's a lot of plot threads that go nowhere. There's a lot of convoluted shit. But I just kind of winged it, and I got enough people interested that my longest fanfic I think was like the 5th most followed and like the 10th or 15th most favorited still to this day. And some fics have passed it since then. I think around 2015 it was probably like 5th in both. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, I met Blake. Well, not even on the forum. I think he was mostly not active anymore, but he can describe kind of the Telegram group.
So it was like the Telegram connected to the site in some way that caused you to
Sorta,
meet?
yeah.
Sorta, yeah.
So,
there was one.
Do you remember the
but then-
circumstance?
Well, so I first interacted with Blake because I posted a thread about a project that a friend from high school and I were working on at the time. But I posted some concept ideas and art and things with my characters, and Blake really liked it. and that was the first time we interacted. But mostly I knew him because his boyfriend was also on the site, and he knew some other people that I ended up meeting. It's like a lot of mutual friends, but
Right.
basically David dated this girl, not girl, she's like my age, but dated her when in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, I think, when they were teens. And there's a lot of dating on that site, by the way. So
I imagine so. Most fandom sites are very rife with, oh my gosh, it's my online lion GF. Holy shit.
Online dating.
Oh my god, it's my real life Simba, Lion King.
Oh god.
This is my Nala plushie.
Oh god. My Nala
Chan.
cum jar.
My Nala inflatable lion.
Enter the cum jar.
Nala
Beloved.
senpai. Ooh.
But basically, the TLDR is
Ooh.
I became friends with Blake's boyfriend's old ex from 10 years ago and her friend, and they ended up re-meeting, and then we had a little chat together because there was one officially connected to the site, but the site moderators were like such prudes, even though at that point I was like one of the youngest people. I was like 17, 18, and everyone else was like in their 20s, and they were always like, no swearing, no talking about adult topics.
Okay, we should keep that here too.
Swearing.
No cursing here either.
No cursing.
Fuck
Pretty
you guys.
honest.
No cursing.
No fucking cursing.
Stop fucking cursing right now.
They like literally get
Ass
after
bitches
for
cursing all the time.
site.
I know they said the site was PG. They're like, this site is PG-13. We allow some things, but they're like, no cursing.
Yeah, they'd like get
Damn.
mad at me, even though I'd do it all the time. I'd be like fucking, and then they'd be like, you're not supposed to. And I'm like, dude, like at that point, especially the site was already kind of dying. I'm like, most of the users were at least like 17, 18, if not like in their mid 20s. I'm like, I don't think anyone here like cares about cursing at all. So.
Yeah, those rules went right out the window. It's
Yeah.
like, we don't, no, you can't say fuck or anything here, but we allow Lion King scat fetish fantasy, right? That's okay. But we don't.
That's
allow cursing,
PG-13
right?
because there's no dick.
Oh yeah,
There's
no, we
no-
found porn buried in that site. You know, we found typos.
There's some weird shit.
Yeah, weird shit. This one guy I knew was like 21 and worked at Party City, and he had all these role plays going with girls that were like 13, and like nothing inappropriate happened.
Is it
Like,
EDP?
but I'd read them and it'd be like their mates, and it's like his pregnant lion GF, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Goodbye.
Whoa.
Very
Goodbye.
extremely
Okay.
uncomfortable.
So to the viewers, you guys, to the 10 people who actively watch this podcast, please watch Ultrafox's Lion King fan site. Like, I don't know what to call them. They're like
Lion King Chronicles, I think.
Lion King
right,
Chronicles,
like Lion King
Fandom
fan Chronicles. Yeah. They
Mhm.
they look a lot into this stuff. It's pretty funny and it's really great. I recommend you guys go watch. I'll probably just leave a link to your channel in the description anyway. Wait, what if you went back in time and just told your past self, "Oh, by the way, in 10 years you're going to make YouTube videos with this guy. Oh, by the way, you're going to be on these other two guys' podcast on the date of September 24th, 2021 at 10 p.m."
Oddly specific.
The New Mexico part would have thrown me off. I would have been like, what?
Wait, YouTube content, a podcast? Oh, that's normal. Wait, New Mexico?
Pretty much. That would have been my reaction. I've been like, oh, wow, I still have Lion King friends? Whoa. Because 10 years ago would have been when I was first kind of getting into it.
We're not normal friends now. We're still Lion King friends.
Yeah, we're Lion
That's the label.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the highest echelon of friendship you can really hang on
friends,
to.
best
Yeah, Blake's
friends,
like my
Lion
Lion
King
King
friends.
friend.
I was friends with Janna, but one thing that we started doing is we got the idea to start doing Let's Plays first before we started doing our thing on the Ultrafox channel, just me and her. Our friend Amanda, we can talk about this a little bit. We had our friend Amanda,
you mentioned
the one
Amanda the other day on the normal call. I heard this
Yeah,
as
I
like
wanna talk
juicy
about Amanda.
backstory.
We were still friends with her until about a year ago.
So we were also always chatting with Amanda and the other friends we had there. And we
Sorry, I have to share how I met Amanda
Yeah.
at one point. Not right now, but there's some weird hyper creepo guy involved. So that'll be fun to talk about.
Oh boy.
I think this sounds familiar.
Such a guy.
Before we go into that, random question, Blake. This just popped into my mind. So I believe you have a boyfriend or a fiance or something like that. I've not kept up with the lore.
Yeah.
Uh, does he watch your videos?
Yeah, I mean, like he doesn't. I mean, he gets enough of me in general, every day. So he doesn't like. I know he doesn't like watch them all like every single time I put one out every
Of course.
time, but he does. He has, yeah, and he supports it and he really likes them.
That's wholesome. It just popped in my head. It was
Wholesome.
And
the
he
thought popped up.
in that newer Ultrafox video, I had live action parts, and he helped me film those parts. So that was
Oh
cool.
yeah, I remember that.
They're
For-
wholesome as fuck. I've met them in real life, both of them together.
Yeah, we've met up in real life twice.
Oh, that's neat.
Was
So-
it 2 or 3 times? I guess only
Two
twice.
times so far.
Okay.
If only me and Goose could meet in real life. Now the reason why I made that joke is because me and Goose already do know each other in real life. I mean, like
Nice.
we were in high school. We met in freshman year in a math class.
Cool.
We
That's cool.
bonded over our shared love of JonTron and stupid videos of that era.
Good old
Awesome.
John.
And I believe Mr. Goose here, he's been making YouTube content for a hot minute now. I think you've been making like highlight reels for a while.
Yeah, I did make videos for a while over a game that I basically just grinded out no lifed for a while, but then I just dropped off because the algorithm was not picking up my videos whatsoever.
I mean, we do
And
this
that's-
for fun, really. That's
Yeah,
the whole
that's
fun of
true.
being a small content creator. You just do
Yeah.
it for fun, make new buddies, you know.
That's the whole purpose of content creation. If you're
Oh,
not
yeah.
loving every step of it along the way, I mean, you won't love every step, but if you're not loving what you're doing along the way, you're gonna fucking hate it.
Oh yeah,
But-
definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I poured those videos that I made where I actually would stay up till like 2 a.m. editing those, redoing voiceovers over and over again because I would say a word wrong. I would say a word all weird or stumble over my words like I'm doing right now, like I'm having a seizure. So I'd have to redo those. Then the pacing on the audio was wrong, so I'd have to re-edit the video, edit down clips by milliseconds because I'm a perfectionist. I don't know why. It's a problem I have.
I would
then
say it's
I'd-
a problem. I mean, if it helps your workflow, I mean,
That's true. But it was more like it felt like I was wasting time on the little details that no one's gonna like. Aren't gonna go into the comments section and be like, "Oh, your audio was delayed by 2 milliseconds on this clip. Go in and fix it, otherwise I'm disliking." No.
unsubbed
That-
and reported for hate speech for a 2 millisecond
Yeah.
audio delay.
Unsubbed, disliked, and
Millisecunds.
reported for terrorism, and I get taken down.
Reported,
Yeah.
reported
Yeah.
terrorist
taken down.
organizations.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that thing YouTube's been doing with random
Yes.
content. Just reported for terrorist organizations. Yeah, something like that.
Reported
Logical.
for ISIS membership. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But Goose, didn't you say you wanted to make a new video about Deathloop or something?
I did, since I'm one of the very few people that own a PS5 apparently, because China is just gatekeeping them from everyone in America. But yeah, Deathloop came out, and it's from one of my favorite studios, Arcane. I've been hearing that it's
I'll
had
play
actually
that.
some issues on PC where it's just not running. It runs horrible, like absolute god awful performance. And then on PS5, there's issues with the AI. It's one of the biggest issues I think in the game. Supposedly, it actually plays really well, but the AI for enemies is just not good either. You can run past them. You can run through whole levels without ever getting detected. You just
Now
run
that's
to
my
the
kind of game.
yeah.
It is
No
very
skill involved. Ultimate
The game
speedrunner
journalists
challenge.
will love this one.
Yeah.
They'll just
They're still
keep their games unpatched. Just
it'll
turn
be
off.
like 4
Now
stars.
this is a 10
turn
out
up
of
the
10
water.
video game.
No,
There's a
no,
little something for everyone.
They're gonna walk up to an NPC enemy and just miss every shot at point blank range, and then get shot once and die. And they're gonna be like, "Oh, it needs an easy mode." Shit, I can't play a game. All I know how to do is write about it mediocrely.
You wanted, I assume you're going to make another one of those analysis videos, but about Deathloop, I would assume? Because I really loved that one video you did that was like, what makes difficulty in video games so interesting?
Yeah, I pulled a page right out of Mark Brown's phone book. I just took a bit of whatever he did. I didn't try to copy him, but I always have this thought in the back of my mind that I feel like I did, a little bit. But yeah, I wanted to try and make another one of those because that's one of the videos that I actually genuinely put time and effort into.
Yeah, and I really
and
liked it.
enjoyed.
It was 9 months
I
ago, by the
actually
way.
enjoyed. Damn.
I just rewatched it today on my lunch break at work, and I was like, this is actually really fucking good. He needs to continue.
Full ass
Yeah.
pregnancy length of time.
The only issue was that the video was so highly edited, and I was still in school at the time, so it was hard to find time to edit, sleep, and be able to get up for class at 9 a.m. I think it was actually earlier, like 6 a.m.
Something like
Um,
that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Editing
So
takes a long time.
yeah, so it was highly edited, and it only at the end of it all, I thought the video was gonna be maybe like 8, maybe 9, 10 minutes because the algorithm, any video after 10 minutes supposedly gets put into more people's feeds. I don't know why, but it ended up only being like 5 minutes long, and there was a thing that I had in there that I thought would boost how professional the video seemed. So I interviewed a YouTuber who also played the game that I was playing, and he Twitch streamed it and everything, and he was kind of a popular streamer in the community. And I interviewed him, and we doing a call like this, and I tried to record it. However, at the end of it, I did the recording, I compressed it, and I put it in the Premiere Pro. And when I went to go play it, it was corrupted. So you could hear some audio, but the most of it was just like staticky. So I had to scrap the whole thing.
Yeah,
But
that
I
shit is so terrible. Like recording.
Yeah, so I ended up
Wait, what program do you use to record?
so I have a recording program on Windows
Uh,
that I can record audio in. If I record the window and then I choose to record like the audio what I'm using, like my Yeti microphone, and then the window itself, it works, but I also heard that OBS and Streamlabs work too.
I usually use NVIDIA's built-in GeForce thing, but I've noticed that sometimes whenever I record gameplay, it just ends up being unusable footage. It doesn't even play. Very unreliable. I should probably switch to... In fact, I'm using NVIDIA to record this podcast right now, and I'm actually... It's never happened to this podcast before, and I hope it never does, but like, I have this fear every time I record an episode that I'll end it, I'll go back to the gallery to look at it, and it's like nothing. Because it'll just be blank footage. It's happened before to like gameplay footage I recorded, but I pray it doesn't happen to this podcast ever.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
That'd be a big waste of time.
So have you two had any issues where YouTube or just editing and anything in the technical process just completely screws you over, and then you cry in the room?
Right? We've recorded before and then find out like it didn't record anything, and that always really sucks. And I think I have too. I've definitely recorded. One of the few things I do have on my YouTube channel right now is my streaming for Sonic Adventure 2, and there were definitely streams on there where I started recording and then found out like after 20 minutes that literally no one could hear my audio at all.
Remember that time you streamed like an hour plus of black screen?
I think so, yeah.
It was funny. I was like, "Oh, Janna's streaming in the middle of a workday. What the heck is this?"
Oh,
And then
yeah.
I clicked on it,
That
and I was
an
like, "There's
accident.
nothing."
I opened so since I live on the property, I get to like go in my room during lunch. So I was just sitting there, and I think I hadn't used my laptop since I last streamed, and so I opened it. I didn't even do anything with it. It like wasn't loading or something. It was like being all frozen and weird, and I was like, huh. And then everyone's like, oh, why are you streaming like at 12 noon and on like a Tuesday? And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, you started streaming. And I think I was this is really nerdy, but I was practicing my Japanese kanji readings. And so people were just hearing like foreign language babble.
Oh yeah, it was kind of weird. It was kind of
they were
Wait,
just
some
like,
creepy
how-
pasta shit. It's
wait.
just a black screen with like a robot voice saying Japanese things.
How
It's
is
like,
that
what's this
happening?
creepy pasta shit? I don't know. Is it just
I don't
capturing
know.
audio, I guess?
like my computer was frozen too. So I was like, huh, weird. I like was gonna open
Is
it
that
to do
unlisted
something,
on your
it didn't
channel or
do
something?
anything. Oh, you're streaming, and I'm like, what? I like never hit stream. I never clicked on anything. I never like opened anything. I want to make a video about Cry Macho, which is Clint Eastwood's latest film because that was actually filmed at my workplace.
Really?
So what?
Wait, really? It was filmed at your workplace.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
did you get to see him?
Yes.
Did you shake his hand?
I did not because I was not COVID tested, but my boss
you?
did.
Oh.
and
Damn,
his
that's
I know.
that's actually such a cool fucking opportunity. Wow.
Yeah, it was super fucking cool. They filmed in the town, the closest quote town to us, which is really just it's like 150 people, and it's like just like a main road with like some trailers and like some people, and there's some like there's some nice farms, and then there's like some weird dumpy places, but it's pretty much just a little town, this little tiny shrinking town near work. But when the movie scouts came, they picked out our ranch, but they also filmed in the town, and they took over pretty much the whole town. They closed down the whole main street to normal traffic. I went there a few times, obviously, because my coworkers lived there, and I'd go to their houses sometimes, so it's not like they could keep me from going there. But they pretty much closed it to normal traffic. They redid the not shop signs. They're all like houses, but they redid the fronts of the houses to look like shop signs.
Mm-hmm.
They styled it like a little Mexican town, so they put up Spanish shop signs. My coworker's house was a butcher shop, so
that's so cool.
she had like hanging meat on the front, and she
Pretty
had
cool.
a bunch of tools, I remember. And she's like, "Damn, girl, like when'd you get all these tools, and why are they all in your garage?" And she's like, "No, that's for the movie." And then my old boss, who used to work here and was my manager, she left in 2020, but she lived in the house across the street, and they converted that into they built like a little corral. It was supposed to be for breaking horses. And then the house next to that, they also own, and they converted it into a restaurant.
So when did this actually happen, though? Like, when did this all go down, like the filming?
Like the film scouts called in October. They made up the arrangements, and then in November they did most of the filming in town and closed the town down and redid everything. That was a bigger project. They were there for longer.
Wait,
They didn't
were
make
you
me
told
sign
not to say anything about the movie?
They
Oh,
they did
no.
not make me sign anything, but they did tell me like don't say anything until the movie comes out. But the movie's out now, so
Okay, cool.
I'm not
Oh,
worried
okay.
about
Yeah.
it. But
We're not going to
Yeah.
get the corporate ninjas to come slit our throats at home, right?
Yeah, I want the
No.
feds to send a cease and desist to a podcast like, hey, you wanted to
The only
yeah,
thing they
you
were
promised.
really anal about was they didn't want me taking pictures of the set or any of that,
makes sense.
which I did take a few, but I haven't shared them, and I probably won't.
Secret photos.
But yeah, they did. I rode my horse through the set at one point,
Oh, that's
just to like
cool.
see it. And then the actual ranch they filmed. It's the opening shot of the film, actually. They filmed that in early December, and I remember it was snowing. Actually, it was snowing and very cold the day that they filmed here. But
Mhm.
they added a bunch of lights and stuff to make it look like it wasn't. And it was an argument scene. It's like the first scene of the movie.
Have
Clint
you
Eastwood.
seen it yet?
I saw it last week when it came out. Because my coworker and I, of course, we were like, "Oh, we got to see it." My boss is in the opening scene. Actually, he doesn't have a speaking part, but
He's just
they
there.
cut between Clint. Yeah, they cut between Clint Eastwood and the other character. It's in his office. And so I remember I was helping him move horses. I got to meet some of the horse wranglers, but they had me be really quiet. They'd start filming, and so we all had to be quiet, and you just hear like yelling coming from the office because it's like an argument scene. And then so they just cut between those two characters, and then they cut and my boss's face is there like briefly. So they like cut back, and so he's in it, but he's not credited, and he doesn't have like a speaking line. But it was like really cool, obviously. But and then they had the food vehicle, which the cool thing about movies that I didn't realize is you can go up and get food like whenever the fuck you want to. So several times during the day, they're like, "Oh yeah, no, you can just go get food," and I just go up and be like, "Can I have this and this and this and this?" And they're like, "Sure. Do you want this too?" Yeah. And so they just like give you food, and you don't have to pay for it. I'm like, "Whoa, that's pretty
Damn.
sick."
That's
So
actually,
they
that's
had
actually
that
sick.
set up. They had all these heaters
Food
set
hacks.
Free life hack food. Oh wait,
up.
free food life
life
hack.
hack.
Yeah, I said.
Work for the movies.
Invade the production of a movie. They
That's
won't
all
be
he
able to
does.
resist giving you free food.
It was so weird because there's like hundreds of vehicles and like trailers, and of course like Clint Eastwood's there, and everyone, it's like a big fucking thing.
Who
And
the
then the
fuck
next day
is
it was
Clint
like,
Eastwood though? Is the
nope.
question.
What?
I hear his name a lot. I've never
Good,
seen
the
one of
bad,
his
and the
movies.
ugly,
Very
everything?
famous
You've never-
actor.
I
slash
know
director.
he's a famous actor. I just don't know
Gran
anything about him.
Torino?
Yeah.
super
You gotta
fucking
show me
old
that.
now.
Awesome.
He's like
I don't
90.
watch a lot of movies. I just play video games, watch YouTube. That's all I do.
He
I
directed.
don't watch
it,
tons of
actually.
movies either, but I mean,
I think if I saw a picture of him, I'd probably know who he is. But this hearing about this though reminds me of the time I helped with the production of a movie. But the thing is, I don't know if. No, I think I can talk about it just fine as long as I don't give away the name of the movie. They never told me to not talk about it.
Movie come out yet?
It's not out yet, no, but I can give away. I only know one scene because I was only there to help with one scene. So, no, a single scene. Oh, it's gonna ruin everything. I think.
the Mario movie.
Yes, I was
Are
involved
you
with that.
playing? Are you playing Koopa?
I'm playing Waluigi.
Chris
Epic.
Pratt,
Crazy.
Mario.
Uh,
You act like Bowser.
yeah, that's me. That's actually me.
Doug
I'm a
Walker
stunt
as
double.
Wario.
I'm an animated stunt double.
Oh my god.
You're just a Goomba in the background.
Yeah.
A Goomba.
You see that Goomba? That's me. They cut my
Just
lines
shape
though.
it.
It's a Goomba shaped as your head.
Yeah.
You can no-cap me for that Goomba.
It was crazy shit, man. They put dots on my face for it. But anyway, I guess I can just talk about this little story now because I don't think. I mean, there's no way the people working on it. It was a low budget movie. There's no way they're gonna find this podcast. They're not gonna know it's me.
It's funny of you to think that they won't find this podcast and cancel us.
I don't think that
Your
anything's
heart's
gonna happen
canceled.
if I talk about this film. So basically, there was this time where I wanted to be a film director last year. I was like thinking of the idea. I was writing my own story and everything. And although these days I want to be a game designer now because that sounds a lot more like something I'd be passionate about. Back then I was studying movies and stuff and I was being like, yeah, I'm going to be a film director one day. And because of that, my mom was looking around for like local jobs for filmography and whatnot. And this small company who makes, I don't really know what else they've made. I don't know. But the lead director is a guy who makes short films, and he was a pretty cool guy. I mean, a little bit annoying, but he was a cool guy. And he reached out to my mom and was like, hey, I heard your son was passionate about filmmaking. And she was like, oh, yeah, let's go. And then I got to help them film one scene, and it was basically, from what I can deduce from what the movie was, it seems to have been the aftermath of a fictional school shooting. That's what
God,
it
what?
seems to be.
Oh, so you were in American Horror Story. You were in season 1.
Sure,
the last episode,
something like that.
Yeah, the guy
Basically,
from the school.
it was like how a society, like a city
Society?
reacted. Society. It was how a city reacted.
Society.
Society.
It was after how like the neighborhoods and the people reacted to a school shooting and how it went down. It was all the emotions of a tragedy happening or whatever. I don't really know what like
Damn.
broad details there were. I could just deduce that from the scene I worked on alone and by talking to a few of the actors. But basically, all that happened in the scene was a few like high school age students were walking down a path, and then they're interrupted by a few other high school students, and one of them makes a very insensitive joke about the event, and he's like, "Oh, are you guys going back to the war zone, or the kill zone, or some shit?" And
The
then,
Call of Duty Warzone.
you guys going back to play some Warzone? And then they almost fight, and then one of the girls is like, "Guys, break it up! You can't." Blah blah blah, and they have a little talk for a few minutes, then they split ways, and that's the whole scene. And it took like 8 hours to film.
Wow.
They had to do it
Yeah,
from like different
hours
angles.
to film that?
They had to get the audio. We had to set up all the equipment. It was a fun time all around, but it's kind of weird though because I think the message of the scene was a little bit backwards in my opinion. Like there's a lot of things I can nitpick about it. For one thing, they didn't put me on the IMDb, those fuckers. Another thing,
Yes.
You should stew, my dude.
yes, good idea. I mean, a picture of me is on the IMDb page though. Funnily enough, there's a
The
picture of
nameless
me.
hero.
There's
This nameless hero helped us film this scene.
like there's a picture of me
That's
walking
why.
next to the director on my. It's a really nice picture that I just recently discovered. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? It's me. I'm gonna see if they actually mention me yet though, because I wrote my name down somewhere. Produced.
I hope they credit you as
edited,
Mr. Nut.
Mr. Nut.
So nut.
Let's
Pistachio, man.
see. Script, continuity edition.
Chick-fil-A special thanks.
Chick-fil-A.
That's funny.
Special
Thank you, Chick-fil-A.
I think it was. I remember on that day he got us Chick-fil-A, so maybe he's thanking them because he got food from them. Special thanks to those homies over at the.
You don't need to be thanked, but Chick-fil-A does.
Yeah.
Special thanks to Chick-fil-A.
Well, I guess
Maybe they thought your name was Chick-fil-A.
You're an intern, so you don't care.
Mr. Filet.
That's
Mr.
me.
Filet.
It was still fun though. I mean, I imagine it was because I was supposed to go on other days. I just didn't end up going, so I guess they just took me out.
So you got to put 100% effort when it comes to making movies.
I know.
Even low budget shit that we just saw right there.
Yeah, even that like backwards message, low budget shit right there.
Yeah. Wait, backwards message. So is it like?
I mean, no, what I
school
mean is like
shootings
the
are good?
mess.
I don't really know.
I don't know. He was trying to victimize the school shooter, and it kind of made me uncomfortable. Like in that
Doesn't
scene,
sound like it's done well, yeah.
yeah, the person who was like bullying, who was being like, "Oh, going back to the kill zone, huh?" The guy who said that, he was such a cool guy. He like between every take, he would actually come over straight to me, and we would have a little conversation. He was cool. He would go straight to me and be like, "Hey, so right now we're about to do this," and we would have a little conversation. He was a cool guy. You know, he may make fun of school shootings on camera, but he's a nice man.
He's an asshole on camera, but he's a good guy in real life. I swear to God.
Oh yeah, I wish I got his number or something because I bet me and him would have made good homeboys. But
On camera, he may say, school shooters got fucking epic. But on his Twitter, he'll say that they're not epic.
Exactly. But I
So the same
guess
thing.
enough time has passed to where I can talk about this. But
It's nice knowing you. Nice knowing you, James.
oh god, like the director sends a hitman after me.
Hitman 4, Bergnut, first target.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Hitman 4, the return of the nut.
Oh no. Oh
Killed by a bald man.
no. Actually,
Yeah, no, I didn't find anything, but mine was a
agents-
higher budget movie, so I kind
Oh,
of...
definitely. It's Clint
Yeah,
Eastwood.
she went up to you.
No,
She
mine
went
was
up-
more high budget. I bet you don't have a picture on the IMDb page.
She went up to you by her boss being in the movie. She wasn't
That's
even
true.
in it, and she went up to you because it was a Clint Eastwood movie.
That is true.
That's yeah.
Well, at least you don't have pictures of you turned around on the IMDb.
No one's gonna know that's you, and no one's gonna look at that movie, Jones. I swear to God.
Oh, yeah, want me to prove it? I can grab the vest in my closet right now and the
No,
shirt.
I've seen your room before.
Oh yeah, true.
Big mistake.
And I've also worn those vests to school, so I mean, you've seen them multiple times. Anyway,
Yeah, I think we milked about the most time we could get out of these suckers for views. What do you think, James?
well, I'd like to thank you folks for watching or listening. This is Bergnut. Thank you very much. This is the Homie Chat podcast, joined as always by my good pal Goose. I love you, man. Thank you for being here, as well as Mr. Blake and Mr. Janna. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you inviting us on
Yeah,
to chat with homies.
Exactly.
Come back again if you guys want
Homie
to.
chat
I
too
promise.
with the Dofo this time.
But let's get a tofu on the chat.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
he just joins
We'll
the
do
call
it
like
Timon the Great.
inexplicably.
No,
Anyway,
we'll track him down.
y'all be
Timon the Great.
y'all in the audience, be sure to watch Ultrafox's videos. Watch the Lion King fan ones, especially. Those are great. But other than that, thank you for listening. This has been Bergnut with the Homie Chat podcast. Good night.